I'll make a pact with you. With the gods as our witnesses. Let us pledge that the winner will allow the loser all the proper funeral rituals.
There are no pacts between lions and men.
Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, Who's Ready for Some Fighting Words. In this video, I want to do a fight breakdown for Nikita Tszyu versus Koen Mazoudier. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot going on, and I want to be the one who delivers that news to you. If you're unfamiliar with how I do a fight breakdown, I put both guys side by side. I run down a list of attributes. Whoever has more points in the end, that's the individual that I'm going to pick to win the fight. So let's jump into this. We're going to start off with strength. Who is physically stronger between Koen Mazoudier versus Nikita Tszyu? I'm going to have to go with Nikita Tszyu. A lot of his game is built on his physical strength. He is a good boxer, and he's okay and solid and very creative on the outside. But if he has the muscle guy around, he's not uncomfortable with that. If he has to wrestle or infight, he's not uncomfortable with that. And he knows how to just physically maneuver you where he'd like for you to be. So I got to give him the physical strength. Power. Let's see. We have Koen Mazoudier with 12 fights, 5 KOs. You have 3 losses. You have 1 loss coming by way of KO, while you have Nikita Tszyu. You have 9 wins, 7 KOs, 0 losses. Got to give the power to Nikita Tszyu. I think he has one punch knockout power, but I also just think he's a finishing wrecking machine when he has to be. He can be a wild man when he has to be. And when he's caught up in that wild man-ness, there's really nothing that's going to stop him. Or up until this point, nobody has stopped him. He's survived every test and challenge that's been placed before him. So that's 2 down for Nikita Tszyu. Boxing IQ. You know what? Here's the thing about Koen Mazoudier. He's not a bad boxer. The problem is he can't control himself for a 12-round fight. That's the problem. By round 5, he just wants to get into a street alley fight. That's the problem. If he can compose himself and control himself for the duration of the fight, he's a really sound boxer. He has a great jab. He understands distance really well. But by round 5 or 6, he's pretty much thrown all that out the window, and he wants to scrap it out with guys. And if he could just control and compose himself, he probably would have got this point. But because he can't do that, I got to give it to Nikita Tszyu. I think he's more poised. Yes, Nikita Tszyu will get wild, and yes, Nikita Tszyu will rough you up. However, he eases into it. That's the difference between the two. He will ease into it. And if you drag him into a street fight, he'll handle whatever needs to be handled in that particular sequence, and then he'll go back to boxing. He won't stay there the rest of the night. Koen, mentally, he's just a berserker, and he's going to stay there the rest of the night. Like, you know what? This is where I feel most comfortable. I'm going to stay right here. And it doesn't always serve him because he does have, some losses on his record. So it doesn't always serve him. And he's still relatively new to, professional money-making prize fighting. You already have 3 losses. So maybe if you can control yourself, I think you'd get a lot farther. Speed. I think Nikita Tszyu's faster. I really do. I think he's just a faster guy. I think he is a faster twitch. I think he's a great counterpuncher as well. I just think he's an overall fast guy, and I think his game is built also on explosiveness. So we got to give it to Nikita Tszyu. Defense. Who has a better defense? Well, I would have to give it, all right, so logically speaking, you got to give it to Nikita Tszyu because he's the one without any losses. However, both of these guys do get hit from time to time. Obviously, Koen Mazoudier gets hit a lot more, hence losses, and more importantly, 1 loss by knockout. He's been knocked out. He's been rendered unconscious, people. So I can't consciously give him defense. Like I said, I think he's a very sound boxer when he's boxing. The problem is, he doesn't know how to stay in boxing mode. He just switches over. He wants to grab his axe, and he wants to go to war. That's not going to cut it. I think with Nikita Tszyu, this is going to be a war. I think this is going to be a contender for fight of the year. Because you have 2 guys who will not back down. You have 2 guys who don't plan on taking a back step. And you have 2 guys who mentally can go to a very, very, very dark place. And, with the way this is looking out, I kind of know who's going to walk out of that dark place, but it's going to be a dark place. Please believe me, it's going to be a dark place. But defense, got to give it to Nikita Tszyu. No losses. Nikita Tszyu. He's been rocked. He's been hit. He's been down. And yet he's managed to compose himself. Yet he's managed to control his opponent to where he can still take control of the fight. You got to give it to him. Defense, Nikita Tszyu. Mental toughness, Nikita Tszyu. Again, Koen, he does have some very sound attributes. The problem is, it's those losses. The problem is, it's that knockout. I can't give him anything in mental toughness, because mental toughness doesn't just mean that, you know, you're coming to win and you're taking no prisoners and you have a I won't lose mentality. Mental toughness is always also realizing I'm not winning. I need to change something. I need to adapt. I need to be a little bit more versatile. I need to back off. I need to go back to using my jab. I need to move a little bit more. I need to circle the ring. I need to step to the right or step to the left. You know, it's not just go, 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 go and stepping on the gas. Mental toughness is also just being alert and being aware of what's going on in your surrounding, in your atmosphere, in your environment. Well, if you're not winning, you need to do something different. And if you've lost the last 4 rounds, you need to do something different. So mental toughness is also adaptation. Mental toughness is also your ability to be versatile. Mental toughness is also your ability to back off. And that's something that Koen does not possess. So let's see. Body work. Who's a better body puncher? Both of them are. Honestly, I would give this a tie. But Nikita Tszyu has dropped guys with 1 punch to the body. And I still would give it to Nikita Tszyu. I'm thinking about it. I was trying to, you know, it's funny. Just now, I was literally trying to find a way to make it a tie. But I can't. I would still give it to Nikita Tszyu. I think he's a better body puncher. I don't think neither one of these guys are sustained body punchers, but I think he's a much better body puncher. I also think Nikita Tszyu is a sharper puncher. I think Nikita Tszyu has different ways of going to the body as opposed to Koen as well. Got to give it to Nikita Tszyu. Range work. Who's better at range? Honestly, Nikita Tszyu is extremely creative on the outside. He is not a guy you want for him to pick the pace, and he's not a guy that you just want to be idle in front of you, because that means that he has the ability to think while he's in front of you, and that means there's going to be a problem for you if he's able to think. While you have Koen, I think he has a great jab. I think he has the right body type. Very lean, very tall, very long arms. You know, and his jab is killer. If honestly, I would just for someone like Koen, if he were to just double up on that jab, he could still be just as aggressive as he naturally is. But if he were to double up on his jab, I think it'd be even more effective. I think he'd be even more effective. You know, some of those losses were, well, at least one of his losses were quote unquote questionable. But how do you fix something like that? Well, you double up on your jab. You're going to double up on your points. You're also going to double up on backing your guy down. You're also going to double up on hitting him. You're also going to double up on frustrating him. There's a lot of ways you can, you know, get a guy out of there. And a jab is one of those ways. But range work, I'm just going to give it a tie. I think they're both sound. Now, I think Nikita Tszyu is a lot more creative on the outside. But if you're just talking about classical boxing skills, I think Koen's a more classical boxer of the two. And when he's on the outside and he's sharp and sticking to the game plan, he's very effective. Got to give it to him. So it's going to be a tie. Adaptability. I just mentioned that. I don't think Koen's very adaptable. I think if a war breaks out, he's definitely the guy you want around. But is he going to stick to, you know, what the game plan is going into the war or marching into the war? Probably not. While you look at Nikita Tszyu, something isn't working, he's more than willing to try something else. He's more than willing to back off, and that is something that he will do. He's not like his brother. Tim is not going to back off. Nikita will back off. He will back off, and he'll regroup, and he'll think of another strategy to, you know, bring his way in. But adaptability, you got to give it to Nikita Tszyu, you know, because he's been wobbled, and he's had to adapt. He's been down. He's had to adapt. He's also been faced with machine gun punchers, where they just throw a lot of punches, and you have to adapt. And listen, Nikita Tszyu's last fight was amazing. That was a real fight. Got to give it to him. So adaptability, Nikita Tszyu. I have a new category. I have recovery. Who has better recovery? Now, obviously, when I say this man has 3 losses and he has 1 loss by way of knockout, it cannot be Koen. So obviously, we're going to go with Nikita Tszyu. He has much better recovery. I just said he's had wobbly legs. I just said that he's been down. And yet, he's managed to compose himself. Yet, he's managed to press forward. Yet, he's managed to understand what went wrong in that particular sequence and try something new and still manhandle and get his guys out of there. So when it comes to recovery, you got to give it to Nikita Tszyu. Last but not least, my favorite category, we're going to go with danger. Who's more dangerous? Nikita Tszyu. I think he's way more explosive. I think he hits harder. He's way more durable. And he's on, listen, there's something about being on a win streak. All right, there's something about being on a win streak, especially when you're on a win streak and you're terrorizing guys. You know, and Nikita Tszyu is on a win streak, and he has been terrorizing guys. Like, yeah, you might, the last guy he fought went to, you can say whatever you want, but he beat the living daylights out of that guy too. Like, don't forget that part. So I got to give it to Nikita Tszyu. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight by any stretch. Even Tszyu said this is going to be a wild one. You know, Koen is no joke. He doesn't come to lie down. He doesn't come to quit. He's coming to win. He's coming to win. Make no mistake about it. And listen, I think he can. I think he can make a good showing for himself. But do I think he can beat Nikita Tszyu? Absolutely not. I think Nikita is way too creative on the outside, and I do think Koen's best chance is to stay on the outside. But I don't think he's half as creative as Nikita Tszyu. He's not faster than Nikita Tszyu, doesn't hit harder than Nikita Tszyu. He's not as explosive as Nikita Tszyu. And I don't think he's as versatile as Nikita Tszyu. So there you go. I have Nikita Tszyu, and I do think he's going to take out Koen. I do. I do not see this fight going 9 rounds, to be honest with you. Those are my thoughts. Drop your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say.